Hi, my name is Stephen Walker, and today I'm going to be talking to you about managing people at work. The divine spark. That's not something you've probably heard before, certainly not heard it from me. So what do I mean by that? If you're managing people, who are they? What are they? Now, I actually spoke to a lady some while ago at a networking event, and she was a partner in a firm, and she was unable to call her staff people. She had to call them staff because she couldn't accept that they were human beings just the way she was. I presume she was anyway. Now, don't you think that's odd? It may not be so odd because if you've not had any decent management training, no one's ever taught you, no one's ever shown you, and you may not have learned in the meantime, how to actually talk to people to get them to do what needs to be done without treating them as objects, without treating them as units of labour, as the accountants used to call them anyway, if they don't still. So how do you do it? Have you ever managed anyone that's a close relation? How would you feel if working for you was your granny or your son? Would you treat them well? Would you make sure that their treatment was equitable? Would you make sure that everything that happened to them was explained? Well, you shouldn't treat them like that because they're your relations. You should treat everybody like that. Because what you've got to remember is what you do at work as a manager affects every single individual. And it not just affects those individual human beings, it affects their families, it affects their futures, it affects, amongst other things, their mental and therefore their physical health. You have a very, very important job. That's why you get the big money. Maybe. So what you've got to remember is when you're talking to a human being, you have to remember that a human being is different from a stone, different from an animal. A human being contains, let's call it a divine spark. I'm not particularly religious myself, but I do believe that human beings, because of our complex brains, are different in nature to inanimate objects and animals who are completely driven by their instincts. Hopefully we're not. So remember the divine spark when you're talking to people. So never ever call anybody a useless waste of space. Just because their behaviour isn't appropriate to what you want today doesn't mean to say that they're a useless waste of space. They are somebody's mother, daughter, father, brother. They're not a waste of space. It's their behaviour you need to concentrate on. Remember the divine spark. If you don't know how to manage people, please get help, because they need to be managed well. You don't want all that on your conscience, do you? So, Stephen Walker, Motivation Matters, creating work environments where people give their best.